Okay, let's dive right into this because what you're about to see is going to completely upend the entire golf ball industry. We strapped 12 of the most popular golf balls on the market into a completely sterile swing robot, dialed in at exactly 85 miles per hour. We're talking a perfect strike, dead center face every single time. And the results we got back? They were honestly so shocking, we literally had to stop the test and double-check the data.
21. Yep, 21. That is a massive 21-yard difference between the absolute longest ball on our test and the shortest. No, that's not a typo. That's the very real difference between, comfortably hitting a 7-iron into a green or being forced to pull a 5-iron. And here's the hook that kind of changes everything. The longest ball in this test, it was not the most expensive ball, not even close.
So let's look at this 85-mile-per-hour robot test. Why this specific speed, right? Well, if your driver swing sits somewhere between 80 and 90 miles per hour, you belong to the single largest group of amateur golfers on the planet. Roughly 40% of male golfers live right in this exact zone. Yet, crazy enough, this is basically the no man's land of golf equipment. Nobody really makes balls specifically for you. So we tested the driver, the 7-iron, and the wedge across 12 balls with literally 0 human variables, just to finally get some real answers.
Section 2. The compression sweet spot, and why it's the absolute key to distance.
To really wrap our heads around why some of these balls failed so spectacularly, we have to look at the underlying science here. Basically, compression is just how much the golf ball deforms or squishes when it's struck by the club face. When you hit a golf ball, it squishes. The amount it squishes determines exactly how much energy transfers from your club right into the ball. If the ball has too little compression, well, it flattens out way too much. Energy just bleeds sideways and you leave a ton of distance right out on the table. But if it has too much compression, it feels like hitting a literal rock. You don't activate the core and you completely lose control.
So the sweet spot for an 80 to 90 mile per hour swing becomes incredibly clear. It's the 70 to 90 compression zone. Anything below 70 and you're sacrificing ball speed. Take the Callaway Super Soft, for example, which sits way down at 35. At 85 miles per hour, you are completely over-compressing it. On the total opposite end of the spectrum, the Pro V1X sits at a rock-hard 97. At 85 miles per hour, you physically cannot compress it enough, it's just too hard.
All right, Section 3. Driver distance data at an 85 mile per hour clubhead speed.
Let's get into the main event here. Center face driver distance data right off the tee. The gold standard benchmark, the Titleist Pro V1 posted a carry distance of 228 yards. The Callaway Chrome Soft lagged slightly behind that at 224 yards. But then there's the Bridgestone Tour B RX, which launched for an absolutely incredible 235 yards of carry. Guys, that is 7 full yards longer than the Pro V1. How is that possible? Well, it has a compression of 75, putting it directly in our sweet spot, which ended up generating 1.7 miles per hour faster ball speed than the Pro V1.
But here is a seriously fascinating twist. The Maxfli Tour basically matched the Bridgestone Tour B RX nearly shot for shot. We're talking 234 yards of carry compared to 235. It's got the exact same compression range, the exact same ball speed. But here's the kicker. The Maxfli Tour costs a whopping $20 less per dozen. It completely shattered all of our expectations for sure.
Section 4. Iron and wedge spin. Let's look at the scoring club's data.
Now, distance off the tee is fantastic and all, but we all know that distance doesn't mean a thing if you literally cannot hold a green. So this is our 7-iron spin data taken at a 78 mile per hour swing speed. The Pro V1 generated a highly respectable 5,600 RPM, the Chrome Soft was slightly lower at 5,200, but then the Kirkland V3 generated 5,800 RPM. The urethane cover on this total budget ball actually generated more spin than the Pro V1. The absolutely crucial point here though is the trade-off. Because that spin was so high, the Kirkland actually had to sacrifice 4 yards of carry distance compared to the Titleist. So at this point, the field is heavily split between balls you can actually score with and balls you just can't. But hey, the winner might actually surprise you, so definitely stick around. We still have to look at the brutal wedge data and of course, our final definitive verdict.
Let's check out the 56-degree wedge at 72 miles per hour. The Pro V1 delivers a really excellent 8,800 RPM. But check this out. The Kirkland V3 produced an absolutely absurd 9,400 RPM spin rate. That was literally the highest wedge spin in the entire robot test. Now yes, its cover is definitely going to scuff up a lot faster than a premium ball, but if you want a budget ball that stops on a dime, well, these numbers really don't lie.
Moving on to Section 5.
dispersion, and accuracy. Tracking the offline flight. Let's move over to a metric that the golf industry severely overlooks, which is how far offline these balls actually fly on a completely perfect dead center strike. Why does this even matter? Well, if a golf ball is somehow out of round or has an inconsistent core, it's gonna fly offline even if your swing is totally flawless. Just imagine you're a 15 handicapper fighting a pretty nasty slice. The absolute last thing you need in the world is a ball that inherently adds another 3 yards of offline movement to your already curving shot. You're basically playing an inconsistent ball that is actively making your miss worse.
Here is the real breakdown of those dispersion numbers at 250 yards of total distance. The Pro V1 shows off its legendary consistency with just a 4.2-yard offline deviation. The Maxfli Tour is right on its heels, honestly, at 4.9 yards, which is incredibly precise for its price point. But then, the Kirkland V3 had a much wider 7.6-yard deviation. That's almost double the Titleist. If you're already fighting consistency issues at 85 miles per hour, please do not let your golf ball fight against you.
All right, here we go. The final verdict. The absolute best balls for 80 to 90 mile per hour swings.
We have officially cut through the noise, we've run the 600 shots, and our verdict is clear. For the absolute best overall performance, the winner is the Bridgestone Tour B RX. It was the longest ball in the entire test, it provided ideal spin rates for both your irons and your wedges, and its dispersion was completely top tier. It is quite literally engineered for this exact swing speed sweet spot. At $45, it really delivers where it counts. Data, not opinion.
Now, for our best value crown, the winner is unequivocally the Maxfli Tour. This 4-piece urethane ball was an absolute revelation in the lab test. It literally delivered 95% of the Bridgestone's top-tier performance for a fraction of the cost. If you're a mid-handicapper who really wants tour-level performance without that painful tour-level price tag, well, this is your new ball. Data, not opinion.
The best budget title goes to the Kirkland Signature V3. Yes, okay, the dispersion is a bit wider and it's slightly shorter off the tee. But for high handicappers who tend to lose a few balls around and still desperately want maximum greenside spin just to stop the ball on a dime, honestly, at this price, it is undeniably the smartest play out there.
But listen, not everyone survived this test. The Callaway Super Soft completely failed. At a 35 compression rating, it is simply way too soft for an 85 mile per hour swing. We lost an absolutely brutal 11 yards of carry distance compared to our winner, and its wedge spin was a full 2,000 RPM lower than the Pro V1. You simply cannot hold a green with this ball at this speed. It's just not going to happen.
So I've got a question for you guys. What golf ball are you currently playing right now? Like, have you ever actually tested it to see if it fits you? Drop your current ball down in the comments below. I literally read every single one of them, and I will personally tell you if that ball is actively holding your game back, based entirely on our data.
If this explainer opens your eyes to what a golf ball can actually do, make sure you stick around and subscribe. Next week, we're doing something massive. We're doing a definitive robot test of every single Titleist ball model across 3 different swing speeds. We are finally going to answer the ultimate question: is the Pro V1 actually worth the money? You definitely will not want to miss the data.